it's Jorge. Just want to give you a quick exclusive review here on the short film DeBÍ TiRAR Más FOToS, which is by BadBunny. And this is probably the most impactful 12 minutes you will see if you truly understand the Puerto Rican culture and everything that's gone through it. Some of the things that is surprising when I first started seeing this film, it kind of starts off, with this old man going through and talking to this toad about how he should have taken more photos. And, this toad is just kind of, in a weird way, almost like a spirit animal, talking to him about how just, just wonderful life was. And this toad is just kind of sitting there listening and just kind of encouraging him of like, well, let's go take more photos. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And halfway through, he goes out and, he goes to get a little bit of breakfast, and you see how much has changed in terms of gentrification and everything within, his country and his island. And it's unique just kind of seeing even the simple things, he's ordering his food and simple things like un quesito, and they have no idea realistically kind of like how that is. And we would say it un quesito, but for them it was like un quesito, which I find interesting because you see so many Americans and so many people moving to Puerto Rico for different reasons, whatever they may be, tax purposes, just to be by the beach, whatever it may be. But you see this gentrification already happening. And the more I dug into this short, the more heartbreaking it kind of becomes. So originally when I first saw it, I thought the little frog, or what is a toad, I thought the frog was a coqui frog, which if you ever go to Puerto Rico at night, that's all you hear. Every single night you just hear these little frogs that they make the noise coqui, and you hear that throughout the night. That's kind of like how you fall asleep. But BadBunny chose, this toad, which the more you kind of read about it and the more you kind of understand the concho toad, it's basically this toad that realistically is going extinct because of these new creatures that have been introduced to its environment, which is kind of what is happening to the Puerto Ricans and this man in this video. And you start looking at simple things like when he goes into the market or to the store and he tries to pay, and they don't even take cash anymore. And he's like, oh, well, can I just pay you later? Like, I know the owner who used to own this. And the lady was like, nope, that's not possible. And you see one of the guys who's probably been going there his whole life just gets up and, pays for him. And you see this guy look at the guy and he's like, oh, here, let me give you your money, because all he had was cash. And the guy was like, no. He's like, don't stress it. And it kind of shows you how the Puerto Rican people are and their culture of how they take care of one another. And it doesn't matter what the situation is, they put themselves as a whole first, which is a beautiful thing. And when you're watching this, you kind of go through and you start seeing the little differences that they put on there. I remember growing up going to Puerto Rico all the time, and all you hear is Spanish. All you hear is reggaeton or salsa, and that's it. And it's interesting the way he portrays it, now, where if you go there, you probably hear as much English as you do Spanish. And you probably hear, I would say in more stores, more English than Spanish, which is mind-boggling when you think that that island is a Spanish island. so it's very neat just kind of going through this short and just picking apart the little things that you're seeing and you're kind of understanding. And it's really neat because even at one part, you know, the old man's talking to this little toad and he's even saying like, do you hear that, do you hear that? And it's basically very faint in the background, like super faint, just someone blasting music in their car, like just driving through his neighborhood. And he talks about how like he just misses listening to that. And it was such a sweet moment when the toad is like, well, why don't you do that? Like, why don't you just get in your car and drive around with your music? And it's a sweet, depressing story when you think about it, because you have this man who is losing his heart and his country, and it's kind of getting taken over. But obviously he's still living in his old times, and he still wants that old flavor that he used to have, and he still wants, you know, that tradition that he had. And it's slowly going away, and the only way to keep it is for him to keep it up and keep doing it. And you kind of see this in, you know, the short ends, and it really makes you start to think, and it really makes you kind of spiral down, you know, this entire thought process of everything that's happened in Puerto Rico, and how it's just kind of been used and abused instead of being, you know, like used to build up. It's a unique take on this film, and I think unless you truly understand the history of Puerto Rico and all the things that have been happening in it, and even the struggles that you have now between you know, multiple Puerto Ricans of becoming a state or becoming independent, and just all that history, it's fabulous just kind of seeing someone represent it and show it so raw, but in such a way where you need to pay attention to such little details or they'll be completely missed. Overall, this short was phenomenal. This is one of those things where I'm very proud and orgulloso of something like this coming out. This newest album that BadBunny did has truly reinvigorated, you know, a lot of Puerto Ricans who have kind of been, I don't want to say stuck in a little bit, but who have kind of just been out there. I think this also shows you the love that Puerto Ricans have. And when you pair this short film and you kind of start listening to BadBunny's latest album, this dude is just on a different level, and the things he's doing for, you know, Puerto Rico, it's something that's super commendable and something you wish more people would be doing. But you know, if I had to rate this film, just because I can't even rate this film because this one hits too close to home, and I wouldn't be able to give it a fair representation, because right now, just looking at this, is probably the best 12 minutes I've seen in a long time. This is the most impactful 12 minutes I've seen in a long time, and it's something that I wish people could understand and could feel and could hear. You know, like when the old man, just some of his words, and when he's just asking simple questions, and the way he gets responded to, there's so many levels to this. And this is something I hope people can watch and just truly understand the bigger picture of it. But as always, this is Jorge giving you another quick exclusive review on BadBunny's DeBÍ TiRAR Más FOToS short film. Go check it out if you haven't. But as always, we'll see you next time. Peace.